Hi everybody, thanks for visiting me at No Time for DIY today. We are going to work on a wine tote today. It's a very easy project. Mother's Day is coming up. If your mom likes wine, this is a great gift, or anybody in your life that you want to make a gift for. This is really easy, really quick, requires not that much materials or fabric, and turns out really cute. So join me, gather your materials. You can look at the list above and meet me back here to work on our wine tote together. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you want to do is to attach your batting. If you have iron-on batting, go ahead and iron it, fuse it on with your iron to your lining piece right here. I don't have iron-on batting right now. I don't have enough, so I'll be just sewing a giant X right through here. It's what I did last time, just to keep the batting in place. So you're going to attach that to your lining fabric, and this is your outer fabric. Go ahead and do that, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so you attached your batting to the wrong side of your lining piece, either by fusing it on with an iron, if you had the fusible kind, or by doing a big X. Don't mind the baby there. That's attached. Now you're going to line up your two pieces now, the piece with the batting, the lining piece, and your outer piece, and you're going to put them pretty sides together, just like this. Okay, and you are going to sew all around. You're going to sew down a short edge, then down this long edge right here, and then back up this short edge, and you're going to leave this open. You're not going to sew this part, this top part, and you're going to want to make sure that you backstitch over here, go all the way down, around, and backstitch. Okay, what you're going to have when you finish sewing down those three edges is like a big sack, and it's inside out right now. You can see the batting on the outside and the wrong side of the other fabric, and then this big sack-like thing here. So what I'm going to have you do next is you want to just snip the corners of that, this corner right here, and then the other corner, and then turn it right side out. Okay, so we sewed the edges together, just those three edges. That was the last thing you did, and turned it right side out. So everything, you have clean seams along three of the edges, and these are all edges on top. It's now right side out, so the batting is in the middle there. And the next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to fold it in half. So this is the shorter edge right here and the longer edge here. You're going to fold it in half so that the lining fabric is facing out. Okay. And I don't know if you can see, it's hard to do with one hand, but basically I'll even that up in a second. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to now sew along this edge here and this bottom edge here, and you're basically making your bag at this point, your tote. Okay, we just sewed down the edges, and this next part is a little bit difficult to show you without two hands. I'm going to try to. So we just did the edges. It's still inside out. Before we turn our bag right side out, I want you to look at what I'm doing here. You see that bottom seam? I am going to pinch that seam like this, and then I'm going to sew this way across. Where, see the way my finger's going across? I'm going to sew across that way. And you'll see what that does in just a minute. But you're going to do that with both of the bottom corners. Pinch the seam that way, pin it if you need to, you probably will. Turn and sew it across this way, and I'll show you what that looks like after I've done it. If you want to wait and see what I've done before you do yours, that might be a good idea. But there you have it, pinch, and sew. We'll be right back. Okay, so this is it. Now this is the bag still inside out. And you can see I pinched the seams and sewed across them, and that's what the bottom looks like. You can see how that works. Okay. Okay, do a double fold of the top of your bag over. You can see there's the corners we just did. This is the top right here. I'm getting ready to hem it. I folded it over once, folded it over again, and now I'm going to hem it. This is where I'm going to warn you. It can get very thick to sew through along that one spot, especially where you have the seam meeting up there at the hem. I broke a needle that way. That was the first time I ever broke a needle. So just be careful, and if you think your sewing machine can't handle it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just after the seam, back stitch, go all the way around, and then end just before the seam. And I may do some hand stitching if I want to, you know, if it looks like I need to. But just please don't break your machine doing this project, or your needle doing this project. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're moving on to the strap for a minute. Set your bag aside. I am using a 5" by 28" piece of fabric here. You can use whatever size you want your strap to be. This one is 5 by 28 and it's folded in half. So you're going to fold it in half, and what you're going to do, if yours is different, if it has a wrong side and a right side, fold it in half so that the right side, the pretty sides, are on the insides touching. Mine is the same on either side, but make sure that you've got the wrong side facing you out here. Okay, then you're just going to sew a straight line right down that long edge of the fabric, leaving both edges open, both of these short edges open. Okay, we just went down the one long edge, just like that, and now we're just going to turn it inside out. Not going to be able to show you that with one hand, but it's going to be, with a wider strap like this, it won't be hard. Sometimes this tubing is hard to turn inside out. It shouldn't be that hard with a wider strap. Just push through and turn it right side out. I sewed one side on, but I wanted to show you how I make sure it's even. I don't know if this is really you know, an industry thing to do or not, but I basically just press, after I sewed the side on with the seam, sorry about that, let me show you what I mean. I haven't cut my strings yet, but so here's the X, and here's the side that I sewed the strap on already, and that has the seam right there for the bag. Then I pressed the bag down so that the seam was at the center, and line up the strap just like that. And then now I know where the strap goes on the other side, and I'm going to pin and sew that on, and do the same thing, do an X across and make it, you know, just reinforce it. Okay, straps are on. There they are. It's still inside out. I've got the straps on though, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip these corners down just above the seam there on both sides, just to get some bulk out of the way, and just make sure you don't clip into, sorry about that, to the strap, just make sure you don't clip into the thread. Okay, what you have is like a really long looking tote after you turn it inside out. I'll show you in there. It's hard to see, sorry. It's pretty though. You don't see any of the raw edges. Everything is, there's that one seam and it's not raw. The clipped corners are in there, but they're very difficult to see. So that's that. And the only thing we've got left to do is to sew down the center to make the 2 pockets for the wine. And what I'm going to do is grab my 2 test bottles of wine and put them in there first, and make sure that everything fits well, and see where I want to make sure that I know where center is, and then sew down. And I'm not going to sew down all the way to the bottom because I want to have a flat, I want to leave a little bit, because when we sit the wine up, when we stand it up, you want this bottom flat against the surface there, and when you sew all the way down, it kind of pinches it at the bottom, so just leave a little there. Okay, everybody, we have finished. This is our finished product. If you're giving it as a gift, this is what I think is cute. If you just get a little scrap of fabric and tie it around the top there, make a bow. I just used, I can't even find the top to this wine, but I just used 2 bottles of wine that we had in the house here just to show you what it looks like with wine in it. And here's the strap. It does hold. There you go. The wine stands up. And I think it looks really cute. There you have it. I can show you the back here. It looks just like the front. There you go. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.